Welcome back, everybody. Well, Sunday morning, we just got back from church. We're gonna do a little cow stuff today. Move a couple groups of yearlings, and I got a dying cow down at the pasture halfway to Aberdeen. So we gotta go grab her and her calf, probably go out for supper, take her to Aberdeen for the sale tomorrow. And that's what's happening on Ranching Sodak. I need to get a couple fencers put together here. Many of you guys are familiar with the big old B100s from Gallagher, which is the ones where you would put a car battery in here. I kind of quit buying the car batteries now, and I went to little four-wheeler batteries in them, or you can buy some off of Amazon, these things that run like 12 volt, like, well, lots of different things, but like duck decoys. Dane had some for spinners. But anyway, instead of carrying around a 40-pound or whatever car battery in these things, put one of these in there. This is a four-wheeler battery. Well, this weighs, I mean, I can lift 300 pounds with one hand, and this doesn't feel like more than like 15, so. Yeah! Anyways, it's a lot lighter than a car battery. So I'm gonna put that in there and we'll get one of these to go. I also got this one going. This was the older style, and that's got a little battery in it too. It's working. This one don't work. It clicks, but it doesn't have any juice. The other thing is this alligator clip lost its spring. So the cheapest thing to do there is go ahead and put a $10 vice grips in here instead of fixing this. It all makes sense when you add it up. Adjustable, but you got to get it so it lays it in there like so. We're doing the Redmond thing, but I couldn't take it anymore. So we're about a month before breeding, and I'm gonna run Purina straight mineral tubs. There's no fly stuff in it. There's no salt in it. Doubling up now on some minerals. So we got Zinpro, Avela4 in the Redmond. Plus the Redmond's got some trace minerals in it, and now we're giving them a full mineral package in these tubs for all the cows, all the heifers, 30 days before breeding, and I'm gonna go 30 days into breeding, and then I'm gonna quit and just go back to straight Redmond. We're kind of getting a good test, but I'm also covering my bases. This usually works until it doesn't. That time it worked. This will make a lot of you guys happy.
Yeah, including me.
Pretty nice. So, doing things a little bit different this year because we got such a flush in this pasture. As you can see, this is part of where we winter graze come fall. Once we come off of our summer leases, we'll come onto this grass. So you can see how tall this stuff is. There again, I'm 7 foot tall, so this is like 6 foot. It's thick, you can't see your feet when you walk down in here. My plan is let these yearlings, I got 130 yearling heifers right over here. We're gonna let them into this 80 for probably 12 days and have them graze it and knock it down, set it back a little bit, and then we'll let it regrow until November when we get here with the cattle. Lots of different stuff. Here's some clover, red clover. A lot of sweet clover this year. Of course, you got brome grass. This is, I don't know, if this is like a wild Timothy, I call it. I'm not sure what this is for sure. But anyways, that's what we're up against. So I gotta go around this fence, shut a few gates, get the tubs dropped off here. Bring her on through, girl. Here's for all you monarch butterfly lovers. Nothing eating on them yet. I don't know when they really start eating on the milkweeds. That's what monarchs live on. Supposed to be a salt feeder in here somewhere. Here we go. Oh, that ramp is just, I don't know, everything is so smooth. Gotta grab some gloves. She's gonna unload this tub and salt. If you want a pair of gloves, go to ranchingsodak.com. Get yourself a pair of gloves, a coffee cup. Waiting this long, so it's July 10th, but a lot of the plants have got a seed head formed. So with the cattle coming in here and eating this down, I needed to do this year on this piece of pasture because I've let it rest, oh shoot, probably 7 summers now in a row. It gets completely annihilated in the spring. It's got cattle on it all winter long. This year, we've definitely got a flush of seed, many different species of grass and clovers out here. I made the decision to run the cattle through here and we'll tromps it all down like I said. Most of the plants have made a seed head. They're not fully mature. As we know with seed, if it gets knocked down and disconnected from the plant, it will harden and it is viable. It's pretty wild how that works. So we're just going to be reseeding a bunch of this grass back down. This is undesirable here. This would be your bluegrass or whatever, Kentucky bluegrass, I mean June grass, whatever you want to call it. Canary grass did crazy this summer. All reed canary and a few thistles here and there, but not many weeds at all. So we gotta shut this cross gate. So I actually got another quarter here that's similar, not maybe quite as tall as this 80, but I don't want them to graze this one. I'm going to save this one. I forgot my fence tester, but I don't want to touch it, but I'll show you a little trick here. I can't hear them snapping, but if we look at this grass, so you can see this grass right here that's been touching it, see how it's brown from there up. My guess is there's a fence charger on this line down the other end. I'm hoping, but I'm not going to grab it and find out. So let's close this gate and we'll cruise this fence. I did that barbed wire. It was a quarter mile of barbed wire. Probably took me a half an hour to fix staples, a wire, and I bet you a nickel that will run this whole half a mile of high tensile and never get off the four-wheeler. That's why I don't build barbed wire fences anymore. It's just the maintenance. I don't want to, and I can't do it all. I can't go around enough fence by myself, or I mean I could, but I choose not to. The barbed wire is just too much maintenance. Okie dokie. Another nice thing about the high tensile is the fence used to go right through that slough, and I just made a kicker there and a kicker here and a kicker back there. We just kept the wire going, and you just work your way around that obstacle. I mean, you could have kicked it around like this. It's a little steep for barbed wire, but if you watch that other video, we kicked that barbed wire around that other pasture. The other reason I want to drive along here is just to expose the fence so they see it, but it kind of blends in, so we're making a nice trail around here. And you can see I don't have any insulators on the line posts. I put insulators on the ends. I don't have line post insulators. Wood posts, and it just stapled right to the wood. Don't need insulators on wood posts, I guess. I don't know. I don't have any trouble. Found the fencer. She's on here. She's just a chirping away, bud. The other thing I did is run my underground wire through a piece of PEX. That's cheap. The other one that's cheap is by irrigation pipe, like black irrigation line. It's a thinner walled than like your normal HDPE water line. You buy the sprinkler one, it's real thin, it's pretty cheap. And then I ran my underground wire through that all the way. That way the gophers don't eat it up. Probably sick of me talking about grass and stuff, but I'm on top of a hill right now. Pretty good clay hill, but we've fed up here bales, and you can see the brome has taken over from feeding up here. All this stuff waist to chest high. And you can pretty much see right where we fed, either rolled bales out or dumped a load of silage. You know, you got a circle right here, Fertility circle. It gets too thick, it starts to lodge over. Anyways, enough about that. It's pretty impressive what you want to spring. If I don't get a frost in May, we can create a lot of material in June. If you can get your cattle off of certain pastures for the month of May and June, June, July, you can pretty much do whatever you want to them the rest of the year within reason. And then of course after it freezes, it's a free-for-all. You can do whatever the heck you want basically, and it's only going to do good. You got to give it 3 months in the summer, May, June, July, maybe April, May, June, depending on where you live. But we grow all of our stuff in the end of May and the month of June. So here's the end of her. So we did a whole half a mile of that high tensile, and I never had a staple off. There's one spring that could probably be a little bit tighter, but I just left it. Now we're gonna be along the highway with this barbed wire, and you don't really need to check this because there's enough traffic and people driving by. So they kind of say, hey, just stay in there. There's no reason to come out on the highway. So we don't need to worry about that fence. That's the beauty of highways. Cattle respect them and they stay back 66 feet. Wish you guys could smell this. Better than any perfume you can buy. Lots of smells going on with these blossoms. And the honeybees are right over there, so they got a lot of work to do. So they're out here. Gate, they were in here, and then they're out here, and now this is, I don't have an actual gate. I just take the wires down here. And now they can go out into here where we were just at. My guess is they're over the hill against the south fence. She's gonna go along the trail, kind of turn around with the pickup and then come along the trail visually. I don't really train my cattle to just come running to the pickup, but I train them to at least follow it or look at it if I'm behind them telling them to go. So it just gives them one more focal point for me to push them to. Well, let's go check it out, see if we can find them. Found them. So this is that triangle area that never got utilized many years because the fence came down into that slough and then it was just kicked around the slough a little bit and the cattle wouldn't make it around there. So we made it like 40, 50 feet farther out away from the slough. So there's a nice hard place for the cattle to go around. These guys have spent a lot of time up in this corner now. Got her all nice and grazed down. So it was well worth it. Get it cleaned up, get it back into production. The wind is against us a little bit here. They want to go this way into the wind, but we got to get them to go that way. But first we got to get them to go around here and then we get them along there. So if we get them to shoo around this, we'll be in good shape. First off is you don't want to just get behind them and start pushing them. First thing is you just want to get out here and let them know you're here and let them all know that you're not here to kill them and attack them, and you're not giving them any orders yet. You're just out here investigating. And once the movement starts, then you start to control the direction. Now we got some movement, so we're gonna just go with it and see where it takes us. Looks like everybody's traveling okay. There might be a little bit of a limping one right over there, but had a couple of cases of pink eye in each group, 2 or 3. I don't generally worry about it. If they only got one eye, the pink eye, I don't usually do nothing. If they get 2 eyes, I feel bad. So I did dart a calf the other day. It's just they're just poor cattle, poor immune system, just poor. You know, the good ones don't get pink eye. So I don't panic. They're young enough that they'll grow through it. They might have a cloudy eye or a light blue eye, but if they're a calf, they'll grow out of it, you know, usually within a year. Cow can stay blind. I've had a cow that was blind for a whole year, but then by golly, she did kind of come out of it. She had it in both eyes. She did come out of it eventually, but especially young calves, like baby calves or young under 5 months old, I don't even usually monkey with them. It's not a panic. They'll usually grow through it. I think they're running into my dog now. That dang chocolate lab was about a quarter mile behind me. I think they hit the dog at that neck, so they're gonna have to make a decision. Well, we're not making too much headway. They were just right over on this side of the slough. We went all the way around and came back here, and now we're on this side of the slough. We went about 150 yards via about a quarter mile, but we're gaining. They're all walking. One thing I noticed is I just had filled up their garlic Redmonds Salt. Last week, beginning of last week, they were out of this loose. They were on block for a few days. When I got there, I thought, well, geez, there's a lot of fly pressure. And now today, after they've been back on that garlic for, you know, short week, you look at their tails, they're, you know, some of these cattle aren't swishing their tails at all. They're nothing. There's hardly no fly pressure. And if they are, it's not like a head tossing and the tail is just going crazy. It's like a real gentle tail swish like this, you know, and no one's throwing their head. You know, when cattle are really frustrated with flies, you watch them throw their head and try to throw that saliva out of their mouth up onto their back, you know, or their tongue to try to get the flies off of them. And I'm not seeing that on these guys right now. That's all I can attribute it to, because this should be the worst. They've been in this pasture now for a month. The manure load is high, the fly larva is high, everything's high where we're at. Now we're gonna be moving to a fresh pasture, which will help a bunch, but I kind of think that this garlic deal works. In Redmond, I know they're using good garlic and they're using a lot of it. You know, it's not just a hint. You gotta have a lot of garlic in there to get it to go in through their system, from what I understand. So we kind of hung up, we balled up. I wanted to push these cattle here. Now they're gonna pull that way. The dog's got them looking over here. That's what's doing this. But see that calf there? Pulled, and it'll be the leader calf now. Instead of going back here and chasing the ones along the fence, I pushed them and bubbled on the left side of the bubble to get them to go along the fence more. I'm gonna do it again. Get these guys to quit looking at the dog. Pressure, release. And let them get their distance and their speed. And that calf up there was one that was back here, and now it's up in the front. It's a leader. This is good going. I think there's one little slough we might have to duck around, but I think we can just keep going along this fence. We're going now. There's the road. She was up by the salt feeder, didn't know where they were, but she's got to get down by that gate, honk her horn a little bit, and make a little movement. See that calf right there? Zoom in on that one. See how they have that one didn't shed off, and it's all real coarse hair and orange colored. Just a poor calf. I mean, it's in good shape, but something's going on with its mineral system where it can't get, it's not, you know, it's not, how do you explain it? It's like something's not working for that calf as far as its mineral with its hair. And you see how these are just shined off and slick? There's about 5 in here that are kind of, I'd call them rust colored or, you know, brown, not shed off. Some of them, there's just nothing you can do about it. I mean, if your whole herd was that way, every calf, you'd want to check your mineral or your grass or your water or something and find out what's going on. But if you got, so there's 5 and there's 130 out here, whatever percentage that is, like a few percent, there's nothing to worry about with what you're doing. It's just those cattle are just poor. They might not stay in the program, you know. If your whole herd is just colored and not shedding off, you better check into your feed or your mineral program. Putting my wires back on my little fake gate, I realized what I should do here is get 2 or 3 really cheap panels, like the cheap farm store affordable panels that are light. They wouldn't have to be new, obviously, but that's what that needs because it's got such a dip in it. The gate won't really work. Well, let's go eat some dinner and then we'll go move that other group of heifers. That one we got to do a little hot wire fencing through a creek, so we'll get Sassy Pants in the water yet. Well, we made her down here. So this is probably 10 miles to the west where we were just a little bit ago. This is old hay ground that a few years back we put the fence up. This is another timeless job. Timeless fence, 3 wires. Top 2 are hot. You can heat them all up if you want, but I usually just heat the top or the middle one. But anyways, we got 80 heifers over the hill there. They need to come into this pasture here. It's about 60 acres, but along that side over there, we got timeless that goes over to where the corn quits, and then there's a Doug, our neighbor's got heifers across the fence there, and I got a hot wire up there, but I don't have anything along this area, so we're gonna run 1 single strand of hot wire through the creek and up that way, maybe a short 1/4 mile. She's ready to rip. She said she wants to get in the creek and she wants to pound posts. We're gonna take a little jaunt over there, see what we got going, and make a plan. Kind of like Lewis and Clark adventuring right now with all the tall grass. I knew my crossing was close here. More like this. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Oh! So this creek is coming off of the lake up there, but there's also multiple springs along the way. So I've never seen this not run. This is always running. That looks pretty good, huh?
Be working, just chilling in his choke cherry barca lounger, aka bark of a choke cherry.
Yeah, because if you put the bark on you and you just kind of lounge back in here.
Just living the life right by the stanky slough water creek.
So the guy that caused all this trouble just showed up over here, the neighbor. Why these cattle are, I said we needed to sync our grazing app together in the wintertime, so his cattle were in a different paddock than mine, but his got all conflundered, I guess. I'm not sure what's going on there. Or we're here, so he's gonna haul the post around because he's got a better crossing, and we're gonna go back around and then we'll pound our way through. Sassy Pants is gonna go through the creek though. We'll hold her to that. Sassy and Doug went around the creek on his side as a better crossing, and they're starting to pound posts over on that side, working back towards the creek. If I set up the spinning Jenny on this side, we can pull through, and then we'll just have to cut it, splice, cut it, turn around, and then pull the other way, and then we'll splice it at the end, which would be fine. But I think I got my weight a little more distributed on this four-wheeler now for the creek crossing, hopefully. Oh my gosh, I knew that might happen. I think Sassy Pants is gonna get out of going through the creek. So I got this puppy set up here, and they're right on the other side of the creek in that bush, pushing, pounding posts. You always forget which one the... Help me. Help me.
This is the scenic creek crossing. Kind of pleasant and cute.
It's a kingfisher.
That's why it's got a crooked beak.
Kingfisher is getting fish out of the creek.
Had like a hook.
I've got the important job is to follow along with the four-wheeler in case she twists her ankle or something. I can get her back to medical help. So it's too high when it goes across the creek, even with a post on both sides of the bank. So I'm going to take one of our cable-made insulators and we'll take this wire out. I cut it up there, and I'm going to tie this to their fence, loop it around there, and then the wire will be going through here, so it'll hold it down. Buckle up, folks. My shoes were just about dry, so I get to go back in. So can you see that now? It's a little lower. I mean, it's about the height of the top of a normal fence now. So if they were standing down there, and the good thing is it's not real muddy, it's pretty sandy, so they're not gonna be sinking in. You can bring that four-wheeler and we'll knock the weeds down. Well, we finally got the fence done. It was for a couple posts short, but they're on that side of the fence. And then here again, we got another large amount of grass they need to eat. This was a good year for canary grass. It came everywhere. We'll bring these tubs through. I think the dogs, if you make a loop, the dogs might follow you right out. They're finding their way. They're all in here. We can shut the gate. Oh, made her home, but we're both getting tired. And I don't think we're gonna make her to Aberdeen. It's like 8 o'clock now, and that's an hour away. Plus we'd have to go catch that cow, so. I think we're gonna call her a day today, and probably pick you up in the morning. We'll do some raking, a little bit of baling, and wrap this thing up. And welcome back, day 2 of the Tuesday video. We're gonna be baling, and that's what's still happening on this ranching Sodak video. Morning, girls. A little over 40 acres down, and I'm thinking it's gonna do just under 4 bales to the acre. So what's that figure out to be? 334? Yep, so we need to get some twine. Did you get her all oiled up? It's got the auto oiler, so it keeps your baler nice and pristine with all the such like. We got to load up the twine. We got her greased. Check the oil and we'll hook this rake up. Yep, that looks good. We got the hay bind stuck the other day. Which one do you want it on, the up and down? Do you want the little lever or the big lever?
It always is. It's the same.
What was it? So I'm asking. This thing is probably gonna overheat today if we don't blow the radiator out. We'll do it at my place. It's a better air compressor. All right, fire it up. Almost 17,000 hours on the old girl. So this is the remainder of the hay lot. This is 8 acres minus what we did there where the bales were. So I don't know, this is probably 4 acres that we got to do right now, 5, I suppose. This is pretty much grass hay, so it's good and dry. It's been cut for, this is the fourth day now. So we got all day today and a little bit tomorrow morning before there's a chance of rain, and every day the rest of the week. We'll see what happens. This was pretty good though. Probably be 3 bales to the acre. There'll be a dozen bales here, I imagine. Well, we ended up 12 3/4. This last bale was only 60 inches, so not sure. Like I say, I don't know how many acres it is, but probably 3.5 bales to the acre. Sassy Pants is ahead of me, so let's go check that field out. That one should be pretty good. Well, let's hop out and get a little feel of this. I was freaking out in this video earlier about leaving your ground alone the first 2 months of the growing season, whether that's April and May or May and June. All of the videos through the winter and the fall. We got cattle here, we feed out here all the way up until spring. I've had this thing in the spring where this looks like you've plowed it. It's completely black. But you get off of it the 1st of May and this is what you get. We'll get 4 bales to the acre probably of this. This is an old, probably a 30-year-old stand of alfalfa grass, and the alfalfa is still good. Lots of brome grass, and then once we feed, there's just tons of fertility out here. You gotta get off of it. You gotta get off of it once the grass starts. You can graze it for a couple weeks, but then you've got to get off of it. But she's perfect, nice and dry. Even the headlands where I drove over it with the hay bind to turn around, like this would be a wheel track, and it's not packed down or nothing, so we're golden. That's one nice thing about the self-propelled cutter. You know, this windrow came out fluffy, square, 7 feet wide, laid out absolutely even the whole way across. Nice stuff, Matt. So I think we turn her loose on the rake, we get all of it raked up. There's no need to, I can just keep baling right behind her. This little knob here was bale grazed 2 years ago. There's videos of that. I had probably 250 CRP bales on maybe 5 acres. Last year we didn't do anything with it. We just let everything work its way into the soil and let everything regrow. And now this year I cut everything straight through. And this little knob typically would have probably produced 4 bales, you know, before I did the bale grazing. And now this year it'll probably produce 15 to 17 bales, the same exact few acres. So we gave up 1 year of production of those 4 bales after the bale grazing, and now we'll reap 4 times the production for the next 5 years off of this by giving up 1 year of production. That's typically my experience with it. And then this quarter, we used to hay the whole thing years ago. He'd hay the whole thing from fence to fence. And now there's lots of areas that I don't hay until I do the bale grazing and get the fertility back up, get the soil back going. When I do that, if it's like knee high, say, I won't hay it at all. I'll just leave it, let the cows graze it, and I mark those areas for future bale grazing sites. So it's got to be big enough, you know, 3-4 acre sites. I don't really like to monkey around with it's just a little pocket, but I've done that too, where you just take a semi-load of hay, set a semi-load of hay down in you know, a 1/4 of an acre. You'll see up here, well, actually right around the corner here, we're gonna, hang on, I've got a few spots picked out where we're gonna bale graze next year, or actually this winter. What did it say? 336? 336? We started at 250. So what's that figure out to be? 100 minus 14? 86 bales. 86 bales on probably 25 acres. So that's under 4. Yeah. We're moving over west of the house now. Sassafant's already got about half of that rake, so we'll head over there next. But I'm gonna let you guys go. This video is getting long enough. Well, that's a wrap. That field, we ended up with, we got 123 bales today. Why am I talking like that? So we got the last little miniature 47-inch bale here. We're gonna dump it in with the horses. And it's just about 6 o'clock and I'm gonna get out of this tractor. And I should have probably cut 10 more acres of hay. That would have pushed us more to the end of the limit here, but it sounds like it's gonna rain tomorrow night, and the next morning, so that'll be awesome. The next thing we need to do is try to get some of this fertilizer and a little bit of orchard grass seed spread tomorrow. We'll see how that turns out. tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.